Lot of stuff to get to, Rob G. Let's kick it off with the news coming out of Milwaukee and Giannis.
Yeah,
it's something that's been percolating now for several months, but we got an official word today, according to ESPN. Giannis and his representatives will be reevaluating their future there in Milwaukee. They plan to meet with the front office here in the coming weeks to have some kind of resolution, which all signs pointing to Giannis Antetokounmpo officially demanding a trade out of Milwaukee.
Hold on, Rob G. Say his name again.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I'm going to rename him, Kelvin, on this very day to Giannis. I think it's time for me to go. And that's where he is. Giannis has turned into the new Benedict Arnold. I thought Giannis was different. I thought he wasn't like all of these American basketball players who don't want to win on their own, who are AAU driven, and let's team up and let's do this and let's not have the competition. I love Giannis. I am absolutely heartbroken that he fell into this. Giannis, you won a championship. Go ask Chris Paul whether he wanted to win a championship.
You gonna kick him?
Go ask Charles Barkley. Go ask Patrick Ewing. I'll just go on and on and on about all these great players who would die to have a championship. And guess what you did? When people told you were foolish and you were dumb and all these other words, that because you decided to stay in Milwaukee and you wanted to do your own thing and not NOT follow the crowd, I admired you. I praised you. I thought to myself, thank God he's not cut from the same cloth that these other lemons are. Lemmings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, here you are when the tough gets going. Now you're ready to bail on Milwaukee. And Giannis, I have just one thing to say to you.
What's that?
I hope you find happiness wherever it is that you want to go. But every night, I'll say to myself before I go to sleep, I hope Giannis never wins another championship. That's where I am today.
Listen, I knew this was coming. You know, we talked about this during the offseason, Rob, and I knew this was coming because I knew Giannis, he talks about it. I want to win multiple. I want to win the multiple. When they say one championship, that's good. It's not good enough for me. Like, he wants to be considered one of the all-time greats who have multiple championships. And we'll talk a little bit later on my thoughts a little bit more about him. But right now, organizationally, to me, this is one of those times where it can have been a clean split last season. They could have found that. They obviously reports that the only team that was really in the works was the Knicks. There was conversations there, but they couldn't really find a way to make that happen because he's been there all of these years. You would agree. That's why you loved him. Blood, sweat, tears. Got them a championship to a team and an organization that generally doesn't. And at a certain point, if he felt it was time to leave, he is the superstar to me that could have had the clean cut. Could have said, you know what, I tried my best. We had a great run. I'm ready to just move on. It's best for both parties. And they could have done that amicably and moved on. But the string it along, I don't want to leave. Oh, I do want to leave. Putting pressure on the organization. They're not putting pressure on the organization. There are reports about the Knicks. Then now this new report that they're going to have a conversation. To me, just leave. If you're going to leave, if you're going to stay. Stop tiptoeing around it because this is where it gets messy. This is where fans who might have said, you know what? I have no issue. He gave us his all for 12 years. He can move on. Now it's getting weird. Mixed messages. I'm staying. I'm leaving. I'm going. I'm staying. I don't want to leave. And this is where it can get bad. Rip the Band-Aid off and go on about your business. If it's time to go, it's time to go, as you said, then it's time to go. It gets weird. It gets murky. It's gonna get ugly. He's gonna end up leaving where Milwaukee fans hate him, where he's one of the rare superstars to me who could have parted ways and had been like, you know what?
And they should hate him. They should burn his jersey. They should do all that other craziness that fans do and say, get lost. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because I really believed he was a different cat and he walked to his own beat. But ultimately, he caved. There's a lot of great players. You talk about winning multiple. Can I give you some names? I mentioned Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Elgin Baylor, Chris Paul, James Harden, Allen Iverson. I could give you Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, Steve Nash, Dominique Wilkins. It ain't a birthright that you win multiple championships.
I agree with that.
That is fan fodder. That's BS, okay? And you can't tell me that if Isaiah Thomas never won those 2 championships with the Pistons, I wouldn't think he was a great player. Because it doesn't mean you're not a great player. Obviously, you want to win. And what made him so special is that he was able to win in a place where it's hard to win. You know, and I think that's what made his career. His 1 championship in Milwaukee is worth 2 in NBA America because it's that hard. He didn't go to some franchise that's always won. You know, you could go look at the Celtics and Paul Pierce and all those. They put together, they made the trades, got a team together. How many did they win? They won 1 and they had 3. They had 1. LeBron's been playing for 40 years. He's got 4 championships. It ain't that easy to win. I know it sounds like that, but today, Giannis disappointed me. And again, you know, hey, I wish him nothing but the best of luck, except for when it comes to winning a championship.
And I'll give the Bucks credit in that they got rid of coaches. Remember, Adrian Griffin got rid of him. Was coaching pretty well, and they got rid of him. And they brought in Doc. It's by all accounts, it seemed like that's who Giannis wanted. They've moved guys around.
They went and got Dame Dollar and gave up picks for him.
They got Damian Lillard. He had Chris Middleton. They've had Bobby Portis. They've had Brook Lopez. They got Drew Holiday. They've put some guys around him. I'm not saying, to your point, that it's the '08 Boston Celtics or it's the Heatles or the Warriors, but dang it, they've had some good teams. So the team has tried their best while also being in Milwaukee to put some things around him. And I got some indictments on him that we'll get to later on in the show. But because I got some issues with Giannis. Again, because when you look at it over the last 6 to 8 years, they've tried. And he wasn't going up against some behemoths. You know, you mentioned Magic and the Lakers and Celtics. He wasn't going against those types of teams. To me, there was some. I had thoughts that I expected some more out of him. So we'll get there later on in the show. But my point is, they put some pieces around him. They've gotten coaches he wanted. He seems to not be happy. He puts pressure on the organization. Then he doesn't. And then he says, I'm ready to stay here. Then he says, I'm ready to go. And I just think, again, if they're going to part, just part. Wipe your hands clean. Clean breakup. Don't do the whole getting back together, flirting back, call you, text you back. Just cut it off so that it can be something where they're like, you know what, we had a good run. Because it'll get ugly if he keeps doing this. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts. And while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.